Hi there, Marina here. I'm really triggered right now, and I wanted to record this to show you how I work through it. Basically, I saw a message on Facebook, or Trigger Book, as some of us call it. And it immediately, what happened, and what's really cool about the work I've done, working with people and with myself, so much that it gets easier and easier for me to just recognize that I feel this wave of sensation that comes through. And so that's the first thing that happened, was a sudden pang in my heart. And this wave of sensation. Now, it's really interesting because, you see a few words on a screen, and what happens? You interpret it to mean something. And generally it's something about you, something that is either missing in you, or you're being left out, or something's wrong. It's generally some feeling of lack, or something like that that's going on. At least that's what I can really trace it back to. And if you really pay attention in yourself, you might find this true for you too. I don't know, I just know my experience. So what happened was I read this sentence, and suddenly, and it doesn't even matter what the sentence is if you think about it. So, insert any story. You read a sentence, and suddenly you feel all this sensation. You immediately label it as anger. For me it was jealousy. And I'll be very honest about that, because that is what I've been working on a lot lately, is feelings that I label as jealousy. I've had the theme and pattern of jealousy in my life, my whole life. I can really trace it back to when I was a very little girl, dynamics with my brother, other friends, later in love life. I think jealousy is a very common human emotion. But what's so cool about it for me now, one is that the more I work on it, the more easy it is to talk about. And the more I talk about it, the more free I feel. And I think it's just such a common feeling, how we're comparing ourselves to others, or we feel less than someone, or we feel someone's better than us, or someone gets more than us, or someone's being given more attention when we want it. That's generally been my kind of pattern, is wanting that kind of attention. And my jealousy shows up not so much when, I think everyone is wonderful. I think that even friends I really admire, it's not that I want to be just like them, but maybe they're getting the kind of attention that I really want for myself. So if I really dig deeper in that, what's underneath that is, okay, I want attention, they are getting. So what's the assumption underneath is, I'm not getting attention. I'm not getting the attention that I need. And what's underneath that is this need. And what's underneath that is lack. So again, something I'm not getting, I'm missing. But if you really break that down even further, it's just a belief. It's something that I really believe to be true, and something that's shown up in my life for a long time. And so anytime something shows up in a message or in a behavior I see, I'm going to interpret that and use that against myself and feel jealous. That's just like, it's just so programmed in. But what's so cool is, I've struggled with this for a very long time, and I kept silent about it. And again, what's so cool is just to speak freely and wanting to share, because I think this is a common human thing. I can't be alone in these feelings. So back to what I did in process today is, I felt the sensation. So I see the words, I feel the sensation really strongly. And what do I do with that information? In that moment, I have a choice. Do I really buy into the meaning of those words and what meaning I make of them, and buy into this whole sensation that's coming up? It must mean something. It's really important because it's here, and it must mean I'm correct. Yes, I'm correct, but not necessarily about what I'm seeing. I'm correct about what I'm feeling. This is my current truth. So, what do? I focus in and I feel it. Now often when you just do that, you just aim at it and feel it and stop. Don't do anything, don't respond, don't do anything at all, nothing to do with it. You just stop and feel it, it dissolves in waves. I did tap, so what I did then is I actually, when initially it happened, the very big wave, I just felt it. It started to subside. And then I looked at that message again, I felt it again. I started to tap. Now when I tap, I just focus on my fingers tapping. It's very, very simple. I just focus on this moment, I'm tapping on my fingers. And you can say I let it go, but you don't even have to do that, because the point is to come back to this moment, to tapping. Take a deep breath, blow it away. Peace, joy, love. So that's FasterEFT, but you can also just aim, focus, feel it, let it be, re-trigger yourself, look at it again, let it be. In my experience, it's just waves happening. And then another thing I did was I happened to at the same time see a friend who had all these breathing techniques on a video. So I just did a bunch of breathing techniques. Breathing, being conscious of your breathing, nothing else happening, is also a beautiful way to refocus, reshift, and calm your system. I even gave out a few laughs. What was interesting about that was right in the heart of it, I started to focus on my belly and I gave out a laugh. And what happened was actually that's when my tears started to flow. It was like I got in touch with, because laughter, it's almost like the opposite end of the coin of tears. This is what I think about it. I think it's been written, but in my reality, when I laugh or I cry, they're both really big release. And I'm talking about real laughter. So when I focus in on my belly and I let out a real laugh and notice how it becomes real, in that moment of pain, it actually started to dissolve it by releasing some tears. So I just wanted to share that. This just happened like 5-10 minutes ago, and I'm feeling much better. I'm still feeling a little bit of constriction in my chest. And if you notice, you take away the label constriction. You just feel what your experience is. No words on it. It's just, what is it? It's just something you feel. You're experiencing. Any words you put on an experience are like dubbing on a movie screen. They're secondary. Any description of your experience is secondary. So if you can really jump to your full, real experience, what's going on in your body, there's words and pictures appearing in your mind, they do go faster if you can do that. And when I keep saying you, I'm kind of talking to myself too. I just find it easier to use the word you than me. So I just want to share this for whatever it's worth. See if you find it helpful. It's been very helpful to me as this journey over the last few years of different modalities, FasterEFT being a very major foundation, and I call it kind of my gateway to really understanding and being more and more aware of what's happening in the moment, pulling myself back into the moment over and over and over again is my key practice. Whether I do it with tapping, laughing, breathing, yoga, so many different ways, we're just focusing in. The key is this moment and the reality and your true honest experience in this moment without the labels, without the descriptions, without the stories. Just your inner world. If you can just tune into that, if I can just tune into that, which I keep doing, it does make life flow faster and easier. And yes, I get triggers all the time still. The point isn't to make those go away. The point is how to live with them. How to really live in a flow where I'm not in a reactive mode, I'm in a responsive mode. That's been really working for me, and I'm noticing more and more how it's getting easier the more I practice. So that's all I have to say. I think I said enough. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a beautiful day. Bye.